Were you raised with the plan for the worst and hope for the best mentality? And you find yourself struggling between choosing to go after your dreams or just choosing to be flat out realistic? Then plug into this next chapter of the Emerge series, chapter 16, Cut Unhealthy Tradition with Intention. One of the most encouraging commercials is deep and steeped in the principles of this next chapter. You have a black father and his son on a football field, and the father is tossing his son the ball, and you can tell that this kid has mad athletic skill, and he catches the ball and he runs it back to his dad, and some coaches walk by and they say to the father, "That's a real star you got there." And then they say to the little boy, "Take care of those hands. They're going to take you places." And the young black boy looks up at his dad and he says, "Dad, I got hands. I'm going to make it to the pros. Easy money." And his father says to him, "Yeah, son, you could, but have you ever thought about what else you could be?" Then he tells his son, "Go long." And he launches the ball downfield. And his son is just running. And as his son is running after the ball, he tells his son, "With those hands, you could be a brain surgeon. You could be a great artist. You could be a sports agent, writing amazing big time contracts. With those hands, you could be an astronaut." And he gives him real life examples of people that look like him who have achieved these great feats. Then he said, "Yes, son, with those hands, you could play for a team, but you could also buy a team and own." And the boy looks at his father and he said, "Dad, I could do all those things?" And he says, "Son, you can be whatever you set your mind on accomplishing." My people, my power plugs, this is the power of intention. This message in that story is not just for children. That's for you and me. Because as long as we have breath in our body, we can effectively cut ourselves from the unhealthy traditions that we may have been raised with and accomplish and grow and see to fruition the seeds of greatness that are within us. Only you and I can answer this question for ourselves. What have your hands been limited to because of following unhealthy traditional patterns? In the previous chapter, we talked about in order for the seeds of greatness to emerge within you, you have to first be honest. Now, in this chapter, we're talking about being your authentic self. Are you being your authentic self? Or are you being someone else's version of what they want for your life? In this commercial, the traditional unhealthy mindset is to place the pressure on this young black boy to see that his only pathway to success is through sports. And his father debunks that and says, "What else? Open up your mind to what else? What are the possibilities that you could have? Don't just limit yourself to believing that this is the only way. You are more than. Unhealthy traditional patterns will have us believing that we're either too much or not enough. We're not going to spend a lot of time defining what those traditional unhealthy patterns are, but rather how to cut ourselves from them so that we can use the power of intention to become exactly who it is that we really are. You and I didn't get to where we are or how we are by chance. Everything, and I repeat, everything is by design, and you and I have followed a pattern. The question is, does the suit fit you? A tradition is defined as a long established custom or belief that has been passed down from generation to generation. Again, an intention is an aim, a direction, a design that takes you somewhere. It's not just knowing what you want and being clear about that. It's a step further. It's knowing why you want what you want. In another chapter, I mentioned knowing the spirit behind the behavior. A person can do all the right things for the wrong reasons. And I'm not talking about anything malicious. I'm talking about understanding the pattern. It's like a father saying to a young man who's interested in his daughter, say, man, I'm going to ask you this question. What are your intentions with my daughter? Because I see you, opening doors and being polite and flattering and all this type of stuff. But there's a quote from Bob Marley that says the greatest and biggest coward is a man who awakens a woman's love with no intention of loving her. You could be into the package, but not the content of the package. What is your intention? If you don't like the direction of where your life is headed, if you don't like where it is that you're at now, you're not stuck. You're not trapped. All you have to do is reset your intention. It's deliberate. It's on purpose. One of my favorite artists of all time, the incomparable Jill Scott, has a song that I play in rotation in my life. The song Prepared. Now, I'm going to talk about this specific part of the song is steeped in the power of intention. She's saying, I know without a shadow of a doubt, my blessing is coming. I want to be prepared for when, not if, but when it does. And she uses this example of being prepared herself for when she sees her future husband at the end of the aisle with that true heart and that real smile. She says, intentions pure, a love that will endure. I just want to be prepared. What it is that you set your mind on, what it is that you set your intention of accomplishing. Oh, you'll get there. The question is, why do you want it? Why am I doing these things? What is it that I'm preparing myself for? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I feel it. I know it. It's what I set my mind on. Do you know that you're an excellent marksman? Do you know that you hit your target every single time? The question is, what are you aiming for? Here's the issue with the plan for the worst and hope for the best mentality. And the gap between the worst and the best is too far of a gap to make. So that's why the closest that you can get from worst is from worst to safe. There's a fail-safe plan here that if it doesn't work out, stop planning to fail. Give yourself the opportunity to dream. Give yourself the opportunity to grow. Let yourself know I am worthy of the best. On a test, you can get the right answer and still be wrong because you didn't read the proper question. The proper question is, what is the best option? What is the best choice? Give yourself permission to be your authentic self and choose the best thing for you. You're worth it. In the scripture, there's a really interesting story about a man by the name of Jabez. And you have to look at the context clues to really get the power of this short story. It says that Jabez was more honorable than the people that he was around, the people that he was related to. Okay, so Jabez, from the context clues, looked at the traditional practices and said, this is unhealthy, and I choose to be different. That's the intention. So how does one be honorable? Simply by living by their word. He must have seen an example or the examples around him where what the people are saying they're doing is not aligned with their actions. If I want to be honorable, all I have to do is just be who I choose to be. So I choose to be my authentic self, and I choose to do exactly what it is that I say I'm going to do. He saw the tradition that had been passed down, and he saw the path that it leads to. Has anybody ever tried to say, oh, you just like so-and-so, and then you look at so-and-so and you're like, oh, if that's where this leads, I choose different. Jabez set his intention because he looked at what was around him, and then he went and called on the Most High for help. And in his prayer, he said, bless me indeed. That's to say, I need to be blessed because I see the tradition, and that to me looks like a curse. No, bless me and enlarge my territory, because I see the example of struggle. Bless me and enlarge my territory. I want to grow, and I need your help to not become what it is that I see around me, because to me that's unhealthy, and I choose health. I choose the best possibility for me, and I know with you I can get there. Notice he didn't say, bless me by enlarging my territory. That's the gift. No, he saw some things in his life. The next thing is he prayed, keep your hand on me. That means he's asking for a continual spiritual connection with the Most High. Why would he ask for that? Because he probably, by the context, saw what an on again, off again spiritual relationship is like. Just like the on again, off again physical relationships. Where does it get you? Then he says, keep me from evil, that it does not grieve me. He's saying, God, I have the potential to be this, and I don't want that. So keep me from. Place your hand on me and keep me from evil. Keep me from the negativity, because I know where that can lead. Nudge me. And keep me. Oh, no. I know myself and you know me. Keep me from this so that it doesn't get me like it's got everybody else that I see around me. That's the power of intention. He intended on choosing the best options for his life. You can choose to do the same thing. I can choose to do the exact same thing. The challenge question is this: will you be bold enough to cut the ties of the negative, unhealthy traditions that you've seen, even if it means disappointing someone else in order for you to be your authentic self? To change the narrative in your life, take the next step. Invest in yourself and book a life strategy coaching session with me at www.beliefinteriordesign.com. Let's start the journey of making belief reality.